For the third time in 7 months, Brazilian businessman Cassiano Baldasso is shoveling mud out of his home in Mucum. Relentless flooding in southern Brazil has displaced 500,000 residents, many considering higher ground. This could become one of Brazil's largest climate migration events. In September, Baldasso saved his family by climbing onto the roof until the fire brigade rescued them in the middle of the night. Now he's had enough.
During the first flood, I opened the house, looked, closed, and left. I went from there to my father's house, crying. I've never cried in my life, never, for anything. This time I cried. Your whole life is there, the 50 years I worked are there, and all the comfort I could give myself is there. Then you see things going downhill.
The mayor of Mucum says the town's 5,000 residents must relocate. His office plans to rebuild 40% of the town elsewhere. Nearly 4,000 square kilometers of land are flooded, more than Washington, D.C.'s urban footprint or an area the size of Dubai. This devastation in Rio Grande do Sul follows severe floods last year. Many of the 538,000 displaced people face tough choices. Mari Venancio lost her house. This month, the rented house she moved to flooded 1.5 meters deep. She fears it's time to leave Mucum.
My God, I'm going to be very honest with you. I think that in the future, Mucum will become a river because this flood took a lot of land, left a lot of sand, and took a lot of trees. So really, I think that it will be difficult to live here.
Southern Brazil's climate is worsening due to the meeting of tropical and polar currents and rampant deforestation, scientists say. Environmental experts warn some towns must move entire neighborhoods. Governor Eduardo Leite estimates Rio Grande do Sul will need at least $3.5 billion to rebuild. The economic and social impact of climate migration is immense, with residents losing homes, communities, and, in the end, livelihoods. Globally, climate migration is a growing crisis. The World Bank predicts over 140 million people will be displaced by 2050, with South Asia, Sub-Saharan Africa, and Latin America being the most affected. The situation mirrors recent floods in Africa and Kazakhstan, highlighting a global crisis and the urgent need for solutions. Families are forced to leave their homes, seeking safety from the next disaster. To prevent and counter this possibility, solutions exist. Enhancing flood defenses and infrastructure, curbing deforestation to stabilize lands and natural barriers, plan and implement managed retreats for vulnerable communities. The impact of these floods in Brazil on families like the Venancios and the Baldassos is profound. They've lost their homes, their sense of security, and their way of life. These stories remind us that behind these statistics are real people struggling to rebuild and find hope amid the devastation.